Hey fam, Happy New Year. I want to start this year off with a different form of analysis where I want to look at the monthly, respectively, the 3-month chart of BTC and a few indexes. I think they're very helpful in helping us form a bias towards where BTC could be headed this year. So in the last 3-month close, BTC basically confirmed a 3-month bearish divergence. That is exactly where we turned macro bearish on BTC, since we also had some lower time frame bearish divergences within this 3-month and the monthly divergence, for instance, a weekly bearish divergence. Since then, we have maintained our negative macro bias on BTC, which basically suggests that we can see significantly lower levels on BTC throughout this year. Where exactly that will be is not really important. We know a few catalysts that will help us understand where BTC could be forming a cycle low or a macro bottom. We will be looking for things like the Z-score, for instance, or we will be looking at weekly, respectively 2-week bullish divergences, which will help us understand when BTC is appropriate for long-term accumulation. With that being said, we have had 3-month bearish divergences at every cycle top for BTC since its early days. And whenever we did have a red 3-month candle after the bearish divergence, we basically saw a few more months of downside price action for BTC. We have very similar situation right now. We did print a 3-month bearish divergence late summer 2025. Now we closed the 3-month in red, and I expect something very similar to happen just as in previous years. Looking at some other indexes like USDT dominance on the 3-month, we see something very similar. We can see that USDT dominance has broken out of this compressing triangle and is now in a breakout period, which aligns with our idea that BTC is in a new higher time frame downtrend. I think that any retest of the 5.50, 5.40% zone is a dead cat bounce, which could lead to BTC retesting the 100K, 102K zone. But in my view, this will be for taking profits or positioning swing short, and then I expect 8%, 8.5%, and potentially even a new all-time high due to the consistent supply of stablecoins sometime this year or maybe early next year. But both indexes, so BTC and USDT dominance, confirm our macro thesis that we may be at the early weeks, respectively months, of a larger downtrend for BTC that will lead to great accumulation opportunities throughout this year. For altcoins, others, my macro bias doesn't change at all. I do think this will be trading significantly lower this year, maybe even next year. If we look at this on the monthly time frame, we see that it printed a monthly bearish divergence in December, respectively November 2024, and we printed a lower high on the monthly. We've broken down of this compressing triangle, and I think on the monthly time frame this is in a breakdown period, also confirmed by the RSI, which has lost the 50 area, which has been serving as support throughout the cycle. So I do think that any potential retest of the 240, 250 billion zone, if given, is also for taking profits on altcoins and potentially positioning swing short with higher time frame, respectively macro targets at around 130 to 120 billion, which I expect to be reached this year. So looking at all these 3 indexes, they really tell us the same story, that on the macro, I think BTC is in a new trend, different from the last 3 years where BTC has been in an uptrend, which eventually I think will lead to great long-term accumulation opportunities for BTC, Ethereum, maybe a few altcoins. So I suggest that you follow these indexes on higher time frames if you want to be informed about what is going on the macro, if you want to have a better understanding on where we're currently trading at in the market. So hope this is helpful. Stay safe trading over the weekend and take care, everybody. Cheers.